The world's top motorsport analysts all agree about Ayrton Senna. Extremely fast, unbeatable in the rain. But these analyses are all incomplete. Not because they're wrong, but because they explain the consequence and ignore the cause. There are two characteristics of Senna that almost no one mentions, and they are exactly what explain what happened in Monaco 84, Estoril 85, and Donington 93, and why Frank Williams was shocked the first time Senna drove a Formula One car. Today, you're going to understand why Ayrton Senna stood out so much in his driving style, to the point of drawing the attention of the best drivers in the world. Welcome to Inside the Grid. If you're new here, subscribe and turn on notifications, because here you'll get access to Formula One insights that go beyond the obvious. Let's start with what everyone already knows, because it's the necessary starting point for you to understand the full reasoning all the way to the conclusion. Monaco 84. Under heavy rain, from 13th to 2nd place on a circuit known for how difficult it is to overtake. With a car far inferior to the main competitors and a damaged front suspension, he overtook champions Keke Rosberg, Niki Lauda, and was taking more than a second per lap out of the leader, fellow world champion Alain Prost. Estoril 1985. Then, victory by more than a minute over 2nd place. Donington Park 1993. Again with an inferior car and in the rain. First lap. For elite drivers overtaken, including world champion Damon Hill, 7-time world champion Michael Schumacher, and 4-time champion Alain Prost. All of that in less than 2 minutes. 12 world titles swallowed in a single lap, and finishing the race almost a lap ahead of the entire grid, with Hill being the only one not lapped, crossing the line more than a minute behind Ayrton Senna. And Hill and Prost were driving a Williams that is still considered one of the greatest cars of all time. But everyone already knows that. And when you ask why it was possible, the answer is always the same: pure speed, mastery in the rain. And that's where the explanation stops. Because speed and mastery in the rain only describe the surface. They don't describe the real reason, which almost no one talks about. To understand these characteristics, you need to understand the era Senna arrived in. There was almost no telemetry, no computers analyzing data, no engineers transmitting information over the radio during the race. The driver was completely alone with the car, and before going into a race, he needed to understand that machine as well as possible. That's why technical development took years, delaying the path to the top category of motorsport, Formula One. Sensitivity was built through track time. Senna arrived in England in 1982, completely unknown. First race of his life in single-seaters, 5th place. Second race, victory. End of the first season, 12 consecutive wins. The numbers were impressive, but what the engineers who worked with him reported went beyond the numbers. The first hidden characteristic. Engineers described an ability that seemed technically impossible. Senna could feel a difference of just 2 pounds in tire pressure. Not by the stopwatch, not by data, by feel, by pure perception of what the car was communicating in real time. That is extreme technical sensitivity. And it explains Snetterton 1982. During the race, the front brakes completely stopped working. That's the end of the race for any driver. There's no other possibility. Senna didn't retire. During the race, he completely changed his driving style. Different corner entries, compensating for the imbalance. A technical solution built in real time, from the sensitivity he had with the car. And he won the race. Details of that race? You can find them right here on the channel, and the video will appear on the end screen. Check it out. And I've just revealed the second hidden characteristic.
Instant adaptation.
The ability to rebuild his driving style in real time, as the problem appeared. Not after the lap, during the lap. And to understand how this characteristic was formed, what happened outside the races is just as important as what happened on track. In Formula 3, competing against Martin Brundle, one of the biggest prospects in European motorsport at the time, Senna used testing differently from every other driver. At Silverstone, While everyone else was in the pits, or analyzing basic data, Senna studied the tires. He studied how temperature affected track behavior. He solved technical problems his rivals hadn't even realized existed. Brundle copied this approach exactly. But Senna won. And 9 consecutive victories that season over the biggest prospect in British motorsport with similar cars. That same year, for the first time in his life, Senna sat in a Formula One car for the very first time. Williams and McLaren cars. Frank Williams and Ron Dennis were watching. No prior experience with that type of single-seater. No setup reference. No adaptation. In just a few laps, he broke the track record going faster than the champion. Frank Williams thought something was wrong with his own car. He increased the fuel, added weight, made it as difficult as possible. Senna went back out on track and remained fast. He made the car look perfect. Now connect the reasoning. In the rain, the car changes every corner. The track changes every lap. The limit changes every braking zone. It's controlled chaos. And in chaos, whoever processes faster wins. And that's exactly where Senna was most dangerous. Pat Simons, a Lotus engineer, described it like this. Senna would say what time he was going to set on the next lap. And he would set exactly that time, because he had already processed everything before entering the lap. The rain, the tire, the imbalance. While other drivers were still trying to understand what had changed, Senna was already 3 laps ahead in processing. And when you have extreme technical sensitivity and
instant adaptation,
there's still a third, pure speed. Because after solving problems that other drivers didn't even notice, Senna was still lapping faster than anyone else. That's where every analyst's explanation falls short. They only see the speed. They don't see the 3 characteristics that made that speed possible in any condition. Most drivers have one of these characteristics. Some have 2. Few reach 3. And to close it out, combine these 3 characteristics in a very pronounced way and add the already well-known extraordinary mental strength. Senna had 4 characteristics, when just 2 would already make him an above-average driver. But he had all 4 at the same time and at an extreme level. So here's the question. Which other driver in the history of motorsport do you think came closest to having these 4 characteristics at such a high level? Leave it in the comments. The video about the race where Senna won without brakes is already on the screen. It's definitely worth watching. In the description, there are links to some cool products. Take a look when you're done. Subscribe and turn on notifications because more content like this is coming. Take care, and see you in the next video.